this is Grinstar, and I am back looking at OMEN presets again. A couple comments on the last time I was looking at the OMEN presets is that they're more interested in how some of it was created rather than the presets themselves. And we're gonna kind of look at some of these presets, look at how they're made rather than what the sound of them are. So, of course, to understand what they've done to it, you probably have to listen to the sound anyway. So we're gonna look at this one. Nice and freaky. Love it. Kind of like experimentation. This I'm playing right now like everything right now is being played. You can see on the down here that this is in the C3 octave, E3, F3, G3. So first thing I want to do is I want to take off the effects and listen to the sound without any effects, because effects can sometimes improve the sound. It can sometimes dramatically, in my cases with my VSTs, it could change the sound entirely, or it can do very little. So overall, the effects is doing very little to affect the change in this preset. Now this preset is layered. It has several layers and several important layers to get the sound that it needs to make this happen. So let's look at those layers one by one, if you will. The first layer is a granular layer that uses a synth note aggro C sample. This is coming from OMEN. OMEN has a lot of these. So if you look in here, there's actually quite a few samples. This is part of the new preset. And if you look at the naming, it tells you a little bit about what the original instrument is. So this one looks like it comes from guitars. It has a couple of bass, probably an upright bass or something. This one has a bunch of beats. This one has a bunch of cymbals, E-basses or electronic basses, electronic guitars, a lot of Foley type of stuff like clanks and door shuts and stuff like that. Couple of effects, couple of harp samples, kalimba samples, couple of noise samples, pianos, subs, and then a lot of synths, violins, vocals. So they're not really that far from what the original instrument was. It's just some type of processing went on top of the instrument to give it a different sound. So this one's a synth. And it's put through the granular engine. So if we were to take, let's say, let me make sure I do it in a group on its own. Sampler. And we go to back over here. We go back over to the OMEN. And we look for the synth note aggro C. And we load up this one. And make sure I take off this one. That's what it sounds like by itself. So with the granular, you're taking chunks out of it and playing those chunks and then going back and forth, and depending on which chunk you want to play out of it, it goes back and forth with the LFO. And there's LFOs down here that help with it. There's that kind of LFO and then there's that kind of LFO. So a sine wave and a triangle. So that obviously is the LFO being played, or the sound wave. So the next one is, they call it tonal, but it looks like another E-guitar granular, uneven. So let's pop off that one and let's hear it by itself. Not that one, that one. That one. So it's only granularizing the first part of the sample. Overall, not bad. All right, the next one is the noise. And this is it sounds like a full sample, but played with a couple of things and then looping at the back. And this is a E-guitar, granular, dramatic. Not much to talk about on that one. And then there's this one. This one's kind of the weirdest one. Because I can hold down the key, and it takes a while to actually play. So it's like the attack is lengthy, but it doesn't look like it is on here. Oh, because that's why it's got an envelope with the volume. So as you notice down here, it's got the gain. It's slowly increasing volume with an envelope. Figure out which envelope that is. Not that envelope. No, that's a random. So it's that envelope. So it's taken a while to build up for the attack. And it's using the same envelope for the pan, so it pans stereo pans left and right to it. So all said and done, not entirely too bad. It's like a lot of different noise. To give it that feel of uncertainty and kind of anxiety, or at least that's what I'm getting. Almost like a spooky laboratory, and I think this top effects is actually leading to that. So let's look at another one. Let's take off the effects. Strangely enough, it sounds like the effects was actually doing most of the work. Looks like they have a compressor in there, a reverb, and a limiter. It's probably to bring up the sounds, because without it, it's kind of very low. This also has some gain automation in it. And that might be the reason, but it needs a boost, and that's probably why the compressor, the uppers compression, if I'm not mistaken, on this one, and the reverb. And then there's pitch shifting, and then there's distortion. So I'm gonna keep on the last one, and I'm gonna turn off a couple of these layers to see how it's made up. So this is the synth shimmering. So basically, they played a synth to put a shimmering effects behind it. And that is fully of drop cans. So basically, they recorded cans dropping. Tin cans, Pepsi. And that's a weird hit. Okay. Overall, most of the work I think is done by this shimmering sample right here. Some of the tin cans give it that extra sparkle and sheen. Also, they're pitch shifting the can to be a little bit lower, about an octave. Smart. I see some delays, I see a formant filter, I see a couple of filters, and a reverb. So this effects is doing a little bit more. So it looks like a violin. Is this? There's a piano being altered. And a fully grain. Actually, there's quite a few layers on there. I think 4. So let's. That's granularized. Pretty cool. Judging from the sound of this, it sounds like they put it through a phaser and probably some echo or some reverb. Overall, kind of cool sound. Oh, there it goes. Kind of like the cans. Huh, not bad on that one. It looks like some automation in the formant filter there. Okay, so when it comes to their original sound sources, it's kind of easy. I have another track that basically I've been working on. The 2 videos before this, I was working on kind of a sort of quote-unquote granular type of effects one where I would take a chunk of the sound and send it to a different effects, and I kind of one-upped it, and so I got 2 different effects being... Basically, I have this crossover here that has a sample and hold that moves the thing up and down to different, so I can basically crossfade for different frequencies or moving up and down. So I think the lower frequencies go here and the higher frequencies go out here. And so that just goes into these 2 layers right here that each have a different effects grid. So here's the sound. Wild, right? It's like, what could be making that sound? It's an organ. It's a B3 organ. So take a normal organ, put it through this effects layer, and it sounds wickedly wildly different. And then take that, sample it, and you can put it in a faceplate along with some other layers, and you got something unworldly different. This is really unworldly different. You could just... this alone. So... and then this one has the 5 things that go to it, and where it goes is it goes into these different layers, and this one has narcotic, which has, what is this, chop captain, and then we got infiltrator, loaded, end of the universe, and then we got Valhalla Supermassive, love this one. EFX fragments, it's in past lives. And then love. Got some love. If the my dogs are unruly today. Apologize for that. Unprofessional of me. But what's new? So let's solo this one. You hearing that? Let's solo this one. And it's barely making a sound. Or is it? So a lot of the filter is coming through, and the organ doesn't have a whole lot of highs. So basically, that's why I have this sample and hold to go through moving it. And I got it on 4 bars, so it takes a while to get through there. But for the highs, I got the reverser from kilohertz, basically to take and reverse it. I got Fracturer XT, which is a granular delay and buffer. And that's what's giving that right there, as you can see. And then I got another setting for Valhalla Supermassive to give it that reverb. I got yet another setting of EFX fragments / planet. And then I got Shaper Box is the last one. So when this is playing, this should slow down and kind of go or something like that. So I got some really taking it off here. You guys, normal sounding type of loop, and then add the effects onto there. And then working with that as a base to do presets with. Pretty cool. Pretty awesome. Of course, a lot of these are kind of like effects within effects within multi-effects. So understandably, it's causing, you're getting a lot of sound because it's basically running through different effects to get those different sounds. And then a lot of granular engines. I love granular engines. It makes it so cool. So cool. Like this one's like a mini granular engine. I kind of, if you see me do one more video on this, I'm gonna move this instead of one here that's driving all of them. I'm gonna do 5 of them, and see what that sounds like, as well as doing some other type of feature upgrades to this. Also got a sign mod so it can randomly go through these effects now rather than one at a time, because my last video they were going one at a time. So that is actually a really cool one. So it just runs through whatever effects it wants to. So either or. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I really do appreciate it. I do. You had no clue. Give me some comments on what you thought about the video and how I did, please. Thank you. And I will catch you later.